and welcome to episode 2 of my Towny tutorial. The few of you have seen episode 1 will realize that I've talked a lot about how to start your town, how to claim chunks, and a little bit about the town upkeep and such. So, in this episode, I'm mainly going to be talking about plots and how you can set up plots in your town. But before I get into that, I want to talk about a few things that I did not speak about in the previous episode. That is, once you start your town, you're going to want to invite people to it. So the best way you're going to invite people is, you're going to use the command t space add space. Uh, let's say this person is online right now. So yeah, I mean he's right now already in a town, so he can't be added into yours, but that's the command that you use. So once you do that, the person you invite is going to they're going to get a prompt where they can accept or deny your invitation, and once they accept it, they're going to join your town, so they're going to be a part of it, after which you can move on to assign them a place for them to stay and play. So once you do that, you're going to want to also know about the things that you can toggle in your town. By default, town PvP is on in all towns, so you're going to want to switch that off unless you want people to fight inside your town. So the best way that you're going to do that, and along with PvP, there are a bunch of other things that you can change. That is, you can toggle explosions in your town, you can toggle fire spread, and you can also toggle mob spawns. So by default, all of these are off because you don't want things exploding and grief to your buildings. Like suppose a creeper comes by and he explodes, half your building is going to go in that explosion, and you don't want that if you're in town, obviously. And in Towny, mob spawns are also off by default within the town. So in all the claimed land that you have, there are no mobs, there are no mobs that are going to be spawning in the town area. Now I haven't claimed all this land, but I've claimed this bit and these buildings and all. As you see, it'll say the name of the town and home and such. As you can see, I've been a bit busy since the last episode, and I've built stuff. I have a few residents and stuff. So I'm going to show you guys how to toggle the different things that you can toggle in your town. By using this command, it's going to switch off by default in all the plots of your town unless a resident has particularly set it to be on in that particular plot. So I'm going to show you how that goes. What you have to do is t space toggle space pvp. So if you type this on, I had disabled it earlier, so now you can enable it. If you type it again, it's going to be disabled. The same thing goes for t space toggle space explosion. So now you can see that explosions in town are enabled. So a creeper, or say you could just set off TNT here and this whole thing is going to blow up. And you can check this by just typing /t. So if you see in here, you're going to see explosions on. It's in red and it's on. And similarly, mob spawns and fire spread. If you have to toggle PvP, it's going to show right here on the top. What's that? Okay, it's not showing. Usually it shows over here, but anyway, you'll know for sure because as soon as you enter your town, it's going to say PvP. You can see PvP, so you're going to know that PvP is on. And obviously most of the time you don't want that unless you have a particular PvP arena. And the next thing you're going to need to know is toggle mobs. So toggle mobs. So in the same way, you can enable monster spawns in town. So now zombies and everything are going to spawn all over the place. If you switch this off, all the mobs that, suppose a mob spawned and then you switch it off, that mob is going to despawn immediately, so you don't have to worry. And toggling mob spawns is useful, especially in, suppose you're building a mob grinder of some sort and you want to grind mobs. So that's what it's used for. You can also toggle fire spread in the same way. You'll notice that the commands are slightly different from what's actually given in the /t, but it's pretty intuitive because now you just have to type like toggle fire, and then now you'll see that fire spread is off. And in the same way, you got to do toggle explosion, not explosions like it says, but explosion. So now it's disabled again. So this is like the basic thing that you need to know once you set up your town, because you need to be able to control these things. And the next thing that you need to know is in the previous episode, I told you how you could claim land. And now I'm going to tell you how to claim outposts. The thing about Towny is every piece of land that you claim has to be next to existing land that you've already claimed. For example, this particular piece of land that I'm in has not been claimed, but this is part of my town. So suppose I were to go all the way over here and try to claim this piece of land. It's going to tell me selected area not attached to edge. This means that this chunk is not attached to my town. So it's a random chunk in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not allowed to claim it. Even though there's only one chunk of land in between, I'm still not allowed to claim this. Suppose I wanted to claim a piece of land far away from my town and which was not attached to the edge of my town. So the command I'm going to be using there is t space claim space outpost. Okay, so this is too close to my town, so I can't do it. But say, suppose I were to go like really far away somewhere, and I could actually claim an outpost. Okay, I'm not sure how far I'm supposed to go. So let me try here. Oh, I'm sorry, spelled it wrong. So yeah, so you see that this part is going to be claimed, and suppose I do Towny space map, it's going to show me this particular plus is the town this is the land I just claimed. So, and claiming an outpost costs more than claiming regular land because it's an outpost. So it's going to cost you more. So you better be prepared to have enough money in your town bank to be able to claim that. Also, it's going to contribute towards your town size. As you can see, I have 29 plots that I've claimed all over the place. I have a few outposts. So I'm going to just unclaim this land because I don't want to pay upkeep for a random piece of land. So that's the command that you would use to unclaim land, t space unclaim. And now that we've got outposts out of the way, let's go a little bit about plots. Okay, so back to where we were talking about plots. I skipped forward because of the rain, and I just don't like recording in the rain. It's really annoying. So I'm going to tell you guys about the plots now. So you see that I've demarcated certain bits of land all over the place, and you're going to want to know how exactly I demarcated these things. So basically, these are just chunks. In the previous episode, I told you how to find chunks, and basically, these are just chunks. You see this two wide block area. This is the last block on the previous chunk, and this is the corner, the sidemost block on this chunk. So basically, one block from each chunk, and I've laid out a path to go between all the chunks. So this is the most common way in which people set up plots because each resident can be allotted one particular chunk over here and they're free to build in all this space. So, but you could set up chunks any way you wanted. Say, suppose you wanted to set up a plot that was bigger than this. You didn't want, I mean, this chunk was too small. So you want to set up a plot that was bigger. You could do something like this. Say, you could club two chunks together and make a path all around. And then you could sell both of these to your residents as two. Essentially, there'd be two plots, but you could sell them off as one. So that way, your resident could have the use of these two particular plots over here. In the same way, you could probably do that and make even larger plots. For example, here I have a plot that's about four chunks in size, four chunks all around, and I built a, what do you say, road all around. So basically, this entire central area could be sold off to one particular resident for them to build their house or farms or anything. They could build a castle here. There's enough space. So essentially, there is no limit for you to customize your plots. You could have them however you want. You could have them. See here, I have a two chunk plot. Here I have a one chunk plot. There I have a four chunk plot, and these are all one chunk plots. So you could have a three chunk plot in the shape of an L, or you could have any shape of plots that you want. But the thing that you need to know is all the plots always have to be exactly according to the chunk because you claim and this particular chunk here is not claimed. So I'm going to show you guys. Say this is my claimed land. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to want to claim this piece of land. So here I go, I claimed it, and now this is a part of my town. So once I get in here, this is the spawn, and this is the spawn of the town. So and this is going to be, it's going to say unowned. So this means that no resident actually owns this particular plot. It's just a town plot. So this is exactly what you want, because you want to sell pieces of your town to your residents so they can build in it. Now, a new resident who's added to the town cannot build anywhere in the town. Basically, he is not allowed to do anything in the town because you don't want your residents to be able to destroy everything. That's the great part about Towny, and what makes it better than factions is that new residents can't just do whatever they want and destroy the town. So you're going to have to assign a plot for them. So suppose I had a resident and I wanted to sell them this plot, or the command that you're going to be using is plot for sale space whatever amount you want to sell it for. So suppose I say 100. So it's going to tell me that I put up this plot for sale, and everybody in my town is going to get this message here. This message is going to appear for everyone, all the residents of my town. So now people are going to know that this particular chunk is for sale. So suppose a resident were to walk by and they'd be like, it's going to tell them for sale 100. So that the way that they're gonna that they're gonna use to claim this particular piece of land is they're gonna go and do plot space claim. This is very similar to the previous command that we use, town space claim, and a lot of people are gonna get confused between the two. But you have to remember that town claim is to claim new plots for your town, and plot claim is to claim a plot for yourself. So suppose I claim this particular plot, it's going to process this, and this plot is going to become my plot. Even though I'm the mayor of the town, I need a plot for myself so I could build and stuff in it. I could build anywhere, but the problem is it's always a good idea to claim a plot for yourself so people are going to know that this is your particular plot. So that's the way you're going to put up a plot for sale, and you're going to sell it to the residents, and those are the commands that you're going to use for a resident to claim the plot and build in it. Now, suppose there was a new resident, and since I'm the mayor, I can build anywhere. But suppose there was a resident, he could not build anywhere until you put up a plot for sale. So the resident would come over here, he would type plot claim, and then he would claim this particular plot. After that, he would then be allowed to actually build in this particular plot. So now he could go ahead and dig and build whatever it is he wanted. And that's exactly how my residents have built these particular towns, these particular buildings over here. So that's exactly how you do that. So now that you've seen a little bit about how plots are arranged and how you can design the plots in your town, let's go into a little more detail about once you're in a plot. So a resident, say this is important if you're a resident and you want to actually change things in your plot. So now that I have a plot for myself, suppose I want this. This is not common, and you don't really need to know this. But suppose you want to, you can actually toggle explosions, PvP, and mobs just in your plot, just like how you can toggle it in the whole town. So suppose you want a plot where you actually want to toggle mobs on, because this is useful if you have a mob grinder. Now I want to have, suppose I had a spawner here for somehow, and I wanted to build a skeleton spawner or skeleton mob grinder here. Now I don't want to toggle mobs in the entire town because that would just be a bad idea. So I can just selectively toggle it in this particular plot, and the command is exactly the same, except earlier instead of typing town toggle mobs, here now you're going to have to toggle it in the plot. So just remove the town bit and type plot toggle mobs. So this way monster spawns in this town, in this plot, I'm sorry, I keep saying town. Monster spawns in this plot are enabled. So mobs will be spawning in this particular plot, but not anywhere else in the town. In the same way, you can have different settings and different specifications for each plot that you're in. And you should also note that suppose you have a plot that is too long, or say 4 long like we have over there, you're going to have to do the settings for each plot. So you're gonna have to toggle them off or on as you please, and you're gonna have to do that in each separate chunk, each separate 16 by 16 chunk. You can put them both up for sale, and a resident can buy both and build in both of them. So it's exactly like how you would do it in the town, except you're gonna have to do it in the plot. Another thing that residents should know is that when you have a plot and that it's in your name, like it is here, if you'll see once I step in here, it's going to show me my name. So you're going to have to know that there is a tax. Every plot that you own, the town is going to collect money from you. Say suppose I have residents, and each resident wants as many plots as they can get, naturally, because every resident wants as much space to build as he can. So you're going to have to tax them in order to collect money from each plot. So the upkeep is 10. So I usually just set the town tax to 10. So this means that every plot that a player owns is going to be charged 10 from his balance, and this 10 goes straight into the town bank, just like the upkeep comes out from the town bank. So I'm going to have see, I have 32,000 in my balance, so I don't need to be worried about that right now. But suppose there was a new player who just joined and he didn't have 10 in this balance, then when the next day comes, he's going to lose his plot and be kicked out from the town because he couldn't pay the tax to stay in the town. And that's how you're going to need to tell your residents that, because you don't want them to just walk around and say not have any money in their bank and get kicked out of the town after building a house, or building whatever it is that they wanted to build. So you're going to need to be aware of the tax and your balance, and the town mayor and the staff of the town are going to be worried about the town upkeep. So, like I said, Towny is all about money, so you really need to pay attention to these things. And the first thing that you should ideally do once you get yourself a plot is try to make a farm, either underground or overground, depending on your preference and the rules of that particular town. So, once you know that, that's pretty much all the basics that you need to know about a plot, residence, a town, and you don't need to know anything more. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking about town permissions and plot permissions. You don't have to know that, but that's a advanced towny feature that if you know, it's going to be useful, and you could make things like you could have a large mansion and have a bunch of your friends live in the same mansion, and all of them use it, because a plot can only be assigned to one person, whereas with particular permissions you could allow a bunch of friends to live in a particular house. I'll go into that and a bit more about the towny permissions as well in the next episode. I hope you guys had a good time, and if you found this video useful or you liked it, please feel free to leave a like or subscribe. And if you have any suggestions, you can always post them in the comment section. If you want to speak to us or interact with us or join the server, you're welcome to join the server, and the link will be in the description. So have a good day, guys, and hopefully you'll stay tuned for my next Towny tutorial episode, which will be about permissions. So thank you, guys. Have a good day. See ya.